remembering the legacy. He was the creator and host of this show for nearly 30 years. This is Harry Canterbury's Adventure Sports Outdoors.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before. Yeah.
Adventure Sports Outdoors is brought to you in part by Corsall Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. Goodwill, supporting our veterans with job placement assistance, health, housing, and resource referrals. And the General Wayne A. Downing Home for Veterans, all because you shop and donate. And by Lori Feld of Allstate Insurance at their new East Peoria location, 411 East Washington Street, next to the U.S. Post Office, on the corner at the bottom of Springfield Road Hill. Our thanks to all of these sponsors. The creator and host of this show, Harry Canterbury, passed away on March 18th in Fort Myers, Florida. He was born in 1953 in Peoria and married the love of his life, Kathy Patterson, in 1985. Harry is survived by his wife, Kathy, and 3 sons, Jeff, Scott, and Billy Canterbury, as well as grandchildren Alexandra, Grace, Hannah, Marissa, and Blayton, plus great-grandsons William and Tegan. In 1994, Harry started this television show on this very station, Channel 47 WTVP, then went on to create a monthly magazine in 1996, also called Adventure Sports Outdoors, now owned by our good friend Andy Bugas. Over the years, Harry hosted several Sunday morning radio shows as well. He spent 17 years in the auto industry and 13 years working for Caterpillar. Harry was also a 26-year Mason. Harry was also very musical, singing, playing the trombone, playing the steel drums in Florida, and of course, playing the bagpipes. The graveside services were held at Springdale Cemetery on Harry's birthday, June 26th, followed by a celebration of life at Kelleher's, courtesy of our good friend Pat Sullivan.
But every time you share love, love continues to grow. Harry knew this. Harry, throughout his life, lived and shared love in everything he did. He was a Mason for 26 years, as you just heard. Masons were people who wanted to live and to make life better. Harry wasn't just a Mason. He didn't just attend a lodge. Harry was a Mason through and through. Everything Harry was about making life better for those around him. Whether it was when he was selling cars, whether it was his TV show, his radio show, his magazine, whatever he did, Harry did it with 110%. He always put himself in as much as he could, and he always wanted to make things better for those around him. And so Harry was one who lived every aspect of love. He met Kathy. They started their life. That was another chapter in his life. That was a way that his love continued to grow. He loved the outdoors. He loved everything. But he loved Kathy more than anything, because the two of them complemented one another, and the love that he had only continued to grow. And he continued to build that life. And that relationship is what fed his love and allowed him to continue to feed each one of us.
this is how the Irish do it. Harry had a lot of Irish in him, and we talk about stuff. I go back for years with Harry. I know 20-some years ago, he always was enthusiastic of anything I did with the building. You know that he loved history, and he remembers these old buildings because of his family and the stockyards right down the street and stuff. He was inspiration to a lot of us to keep on pushing, and he's going to be missed in this town. He has a great magazine. He had a great TV and radio show. I used to be a guest on his radio show years ago, and just going to be missed from a lot of us. And you know as well as I do that we both miss him already. But Kathy is a strong woman and their family, and he'll be missed, but every time we go fishing or every time we do something outdoors, you say, well, Harry likes it this way, like his crappie. So that's what he'd want us to laugh and have a good time and move on, you know, and he'll remind us. David Hirschman's going to talk to us first. Sir, this guy's been around a couple of years.
I have, yes.
Maybe one or two more than me, but we both knew Harry. We both ran with Harry. He can say it in the best words.
Thank you. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. Can everyone hear me okay? Before I start, I wanted to remind people that today we celebrate or honor Harry, and it's also Harry's birthday. Therefore, we're having the cake over here from Tretzker's Bakery, so we appreciate that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We're celebrating a birthday and a celebration of life. But before I begin today, I want to introduce myself. My name is David Hirschman, for those of you who have not met me. A lot of you do know who I am, but I was a friend of Harry's, and I want to talk a little bit about Harry. But before I do, I want to read a heartfelt letter from a good friend of Harry's, Al Johnson, and his son Trent. And I wanted to read this letter. Al came to me after Harry's death and asked me to read this letter, thinking that I had some specialty in that, which I'm honored to do. And he said, Dave, revise the letter if it's not grammatically correct or if you think it needs revision. Well, when I read the letter, after the tears quit flowing, I made no changes. It's a perfect letter, and I'll give it my best here, Al. Dear Harry, it is with a sad heart that we're writing you this letter. We have asked another one of your special friends, David Hirschman, myself, to read this letter at your celebration of your life that your wonderful wife, Kathy, has put on in your honor. It's been many years since we met you at your ASO office in downtown Tremont. Being hunters and fishing men, we loved your magazine and TV show. Over the years, my wife Pat and I had the privilege to deliver your magazine once a month to Peoria, Pekin, and other towns, to all of your good friends and customers who could not wait to see the new issue. A lot of hunting and fishing people love the articles, pictures, and information in your magazine. As far as we are concerned, it's the best one out there. Hear, hear. We would have to write a book about all we did together, so I will just touch on a few of the good times we had with you and Kathy. You were very good to a lot of people, and you shared your hard work and good fortune with all of us. You always talked about the love you had for Kathy and your children. You talked highly about others, young and old. You loved me to cook out in the duck boat and cabin, and said that even if we did not get any game, you loved the fellowship and the food. That's true. At your cabin in rural Route Astoria, Cox Hollow, where we told stories back and forth, it was a blast. And I will add that these were some of the finest times of my life as well. Now we would like to give Kathy a hand, as she was your boss, wife, and friend. And she stood by you till the very end. So everyone, please give us a round of applause for Kathy, his loving wife. You and Kathy loved each other, and you both loved the water. You took us boating in your houseboat and cabin cruiser, which was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed the sun. You took Pat and I to the beach, which was not far from your home in Port Charlotte, to see people dance to the drum music as the sun went down on the Gulf of Mexico. It was something I will never forget. I might add that Pat is no longer with us, so we have a sip for her. I love taking you and my son Tyson in our duck boat. Tyson is no longer with us as well. We had a great time, and Tyson loved talking to you about hunting. You and Kathy were great cooks. Agree with that. And the food you fed us was out of this world at your home in Peoria and Port Charlotte, Florida. I remember you taking us out to a private island in the Gulf of Mexico and seeing the giant tortoise that ate out of your hands, and they were big enough for children to ride on. We will sign off for now, our good friend, with this thought in mind. Yesterday is the past, tomorrow is the future, today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Harry, it's been an honor to have you as our good friend. We will always remember you, and if you get a chance, chase some of those ducks and geese our way. God bless you. Till we meet again, your friends forever, Alan and Trent Johnson. Thank you, Alan and Trent, for writing such a heartwarming letter. Very much appreciated.
We had a very wonderful celebration of life for Harry, and I have to thank Pat Sullivan for that down at Kelleher's, and he made it happen. And we had there at the Springdale Cemetery, we had a beautiful service, and it was a beautiful day.
My dad, Harry Canterbury, was my best friend. Yeah, he was my absolutely best friend. We argued, like best friends might do, but we always had we had such a love for each other. We made each other proud. My dad made me proud. I made him proud.
Well, I tell you what, Harry was a very, very nice person in general. He was always nice to everybody. And one of the things numerous people told me when he passed away, they're like, oh no, Harry Canterbury's gone. He's the one person that always made me feel good about myself. He always instilled confidence that I could do this and I could do that. And so many people are negative, and not that Harry didn't have his negative moments, he did. But for the most part, he was told when we started the magazine in 1996, well, you can't do that, by his mother. And he said, well, watch me. And he did.
He had an interest in life. He was always inspired. He just embraced he embraced his wonder. So he had a natural wonder for life, and he wanted to be and do. He was everything.
Harry had a lot of friends, and he always was very thoughtful of other people, and he stayed in touch with his friends. It was the hunting thing and people of his peers, of his own generation. He really liked to propagate those relationships, and he had a lot of friends. It's like we had about 200 people come to Kelleher's for his celebration of life. We ran out of food. It was a great party, though. I think he would have been very proud. Brent Manning and Dave Herschelman and Bob Park all did eulogies.
He and I were both history buffs. I'm dressed up because of Harry, because that would be the first thing he'd want to do whenever we shot an episode, was dress the part. And we had many episodes that we did together. We did cannon shooting, collecting Civil War guns, cowboy guns, just everything. And he will be missed.
He was a very well-read person. He loved history. He loved the Civil War. I think we were at Shiloh, just me and him at Shiloh. I think 4 times we were at Shiloh. And we went to Vicksburg 2 times. We have 2 small cannonballs that are in front of the fireplace in the family room. And then out front is 2 other cannonballs that are the big boys. And his dad, Jack, they went to the Bloody Pond at Shiloh, and Jack went in there with a metal detector. This was the 60s, before it was illegal, because you cannot do that now at all. They will bust you. Of course, everything's been pretty well picked over down there, so there's not a lot of historical stuff. You might find a shell here and there. He felt that everybody should study and know history, because if you don't study and know it, it will repeat itself.
How he lived, how he approached life, how he treated everybody the same. I witnessed these things. And kind of put me on a different level as a child, being the son of Harry Canterbury. I'd go to sports shows. I can remember filming the first Adventure Sports Outdoors with one of those. It was almost like a Home Alone camera, but it was like a 1990s just house-held video camera. We did an ice fishing show. I remember giving bunny ears to some kid, and that was the beginning. But I remember filming at 8 years old, and then fell in love with filming just as much as I did with shooting. And that was an accident. And I think my dad's discovery of film and everything else was an accident. I think he just was looking for ways to connect the outdoorsman and knew that was really important. My father became a vessel and a channel, a television channel, for people to tune into, because he had a message and a story.
Well, Harry and I had a very wonderful life. We traveled a lot. We went to Alaska 3 years in a row. We took friends every year. We stayed at the Salmon Catcher Lodge up there in Soldotna. And we went to the SHOT Show in Vegas. We did that 3 years in a row. And he traveled and went to Conan's and pheasant hunting out, I want to say, South Dakota, but I'm not for sure if it's south or north. But he loved that. And then the War Eagle boat guys, he got to know them, and he would go down to Arkansas and hunt with them. And of course, that's a different kind of duck hunting. You wore these big heavy-duty waders, and you hunted in water. I think it was rice fields. So he got to experience that, and just a lot of more things than he would have if he hadn't have had an adventure sports outdoors.
He loved this country so much. He was as patriotic as they get, and his heart really was in it. It wasn't like a, look at my shirt, I'm a patriot, look at me. It was like my heart bleeds for this country. And that's part of why I became a Marine, because he was a garden for freedom. He bred and gardened and nurtured freedom on every level. What he did was he breathed the example of liberty.
He loved duck hunting. He liked to deer hunt and do other hunting, but duck hunting was always his passion. And he's been, the past 10 years or probably more, he's been always a little depressed because he didn't really have any place to duck hunt, and there really wasn't any ducks flying in the Mississippi Flyway where he was hunting. I know some clubs flourished, but where he was at did not. They had some good seasons, but it didn't flourish regularly. So when we had our farm, he would do the deer hunting religiously. He'd be out there, and he killed some big deer.
My dad was my biggest supporter when I was in the Marine Corps. He did a lot for me and other veterans, and I think that was like a mission for him, And yeah, he helped me out immensely. There's care packages and a lot of things like that, but the phone calls were, you know, getting letters or, you know, pictures, but more than anything, phone calls from my father, him interested in what's going on there, him telling me about what's here, but
The mushrooms. He was crazy about morel mushrooms. And that was the one thing he wanted to get out of Florida and get back up to Illinois in April so he could get the morel mushrooms. And you know, the last few years, he would go hunting some, and I'd drop him off at a secret spot and then come back and get him. Of course, thank goodness now we have the cell phones, because I remember doing that in the 90s. The cell phones didn't work as well.
One of the fond memories I always remember, every time I went to go to Harry's booth, Harry wasn't there because Harry was always in somebody else's booth. He always had somebody to talk to. I don't think Harry ever met a stranger. So I learned a lot from Harry in those first few years on just how to interact with people at the sports shows. Even though back then, you know, I didn't really work for him, it just was something that he taught me back in my younger years of my career. I really appreciated everything he did for the sports shows and how he promoted the outdoor industry. They were really great people and great people to hang out with. And then in about 2015, I get a phone call from Harry. I'd known Harry for quite a few years by then, and he was saying he was ready to think about retirement, and that the magazine was up for sale, and he thought that I would be the best fit for it. Of course, I was a little skeptical. I was very happy with the position I was in. Unfortunately, I wasn't going to be an owner in that particular situation, so I thought, man, I've always wanted to own my own business. And I just kind of let it sit on the back burner for a couple years, or a couple months, I should say. And next thing I know, I get another call, and it's from Kathy, and she's saying, Andy, I really think you need to take a look at this. We want to work this out for you. We'll work with you through the years, and we just feel like you're the right one for the job. So I took that to heart. We worked something out. We've been working together now 6 years. We just had our 25th anniversary for the Adventure Sports Outdoors magazine, and I can't thank Harry and Kathy enough for things they've done for me in my career. Things that they've taught me along the way. They've just been very, very good to me, and I can't really show enough appreciation for them. Now, as we continue forward, we want to carry on Harry's legacy. Obviously, he built this magazine, and now I've been doing it 6 years, and they had it about 20 years. So we want to continue to provide everybody with the great content. I'm always looking for new writers and people to always jazz up the magazine. I always try to provide you guys with the most content that we possibly can. Exactly what Harry's always done with both the magazine and TV, and we hope to carry on that legacy. So, and as we continue, I'm hoping to be even more a part of the ASO TV. I'm going to be going catfishing here in a couple weeks on the Illinois River. I'm hoping to bring you guys some footage from that, and then as we continue on through the year on my fishing trips and hunting trips, I'm hoping to bring some of that to you. And as always, you know, check us out online at asomagazine.com, or also you can always find our magazine at a local sponsor. As I said, Harry's meant a lot to me in my life and my career. I appreciate everything he's done for me, and we will look forward to continuing his legacy and carrying on the TV and the magazine and producing quality shows and quality magazines for you to enjoy as readers and for everything that we do here in the Midwest.
Adventure Sports Outdoors is brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. Goodwill, supporting our veterans with job placement assistance, health, housing, and resource referrals. And the General Wayne A. Downing Home for Veterans, all because you shop and donate. And by Lori Feld of Allstate Insurance at their new East Peoria location, 411 East Washington Street, next to the U.S. Post Office on the corner at the bottom of Springfield Road Hill. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.